umbrella. And with La Vie en Bleu, Within Fashion, the new book, Darcy came from Trini and Susanna, basically. I had a book on Trini and Susanna. I was looking through it and reading some of the stuff they said. Thing like, if you wore a big coat, then clearly you would disappeared into yourself and no man would ever fancy you. And I thought, wouldn't that be fun?
And coat over.
And number two was that the message with all my books is to never give up, to keep smiling. In particular, in fashion is it's called Embrace Designer. I've got a hashtag Embrace Designer because Darcy launches an entire campaign through the book, so the book becomes how to be proud of who you are, to embrace that everybody's designer because they've been built as unique, and to embrace who we are and love who we are, and it's done all with a lot of fun and laughter and people in body paint.
Follow that?
Well, I'll start with the second one because I don't really do message books. I don't think. I think there's always a story to be told, and there's things to be drawn out of that story. But I don't do moralistic stories. I never set out to teach anybody anything. Or, I suppose in one of my books you probably deliver a baby by the end of it, but that's survive a prison riot. You might get some good survival training out of some of them. You can just stitch your own wound up or whatever. But yeah, they're bad people doing bad things, and they're good people trying to catch the bad people. Basically, they're the classic kind of crime novels, by and large. And the characters in them, do they stem from me? There's a lot of bits and pieces of my personality and my wife's personality, our relationship, especially in the Dark Peak. There's a lot of us in Sana and Meg. A lot of that closeness came from my relationship with Kat, my wife. We've been together for 20 years now. And I wanted to do an atypical story because a lot of lesbian fiction is that instant first love. Eyes meet, and that's it. You fancy for each other. I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I think you can do that with a series because you can play the long game with it. And I really enjoyed. They're my favourite couple to have written, and I think they work really well as a couple because they've got that depth and that friendship and those shared jokes and that shared history, and they can finish each other's sentences. And they have sex, and it's not a big deal. They're friends with benefits at times. With something like Alias, that just came out of, well, I want to write something different. And I wanted to write something different to the Dark Peak series as well. I didn't want to do cosy like the Dark Peak. Because even though there's this horrible stuff going on in the background, Sana and Meg are so sweet, there's always that to fall back on. So I didn't want to just do them again. So the main character in Alias has got an edge. The main relationship in Alias, because of the way it's basically a police officer who's investigating the crash and doesn't know whether the driver of the crash is a bad girl, a good girl, what the hell she is. She doesn't know. And it's written in first person, and it gives it that real intimacy. So that came out of that. It came out of me wanting to write something different for, it's first person. I've never done that before. And it is thriller first, definitely thriller first. And there is a good relationship in there, but it's prickly, which I've never done either. So, yeah, in terms of place, that's more of something that I was familiar with because it's based in the mountains in Snowdonia where we'd walked. But in terms of characters, they're not. I can't put my finger on and say, well, that came from me, that came from this particular inspiration. They were just characters that I designed, really. Which is kind of what you do with your characters. You design them, don't you? You give them a life, you give them a name, you give them a look and a personality. So.
Good. Yes, well, I seem to have a problem writing books that just have two main characters. Seem to end up with quite an ensemble. And the first book I wrote that was published, I got to the end of the first chapter, and I think Velvet described it as something like a French farce because there was one character, several of her ex-lovers turned up, and she's with another woman, and It's all a bit complicated, and
I love it.
and I got to the end of this first chapter, and I thought, what's going to happen now? You know. So then I had to introduce another character. You know, why not? And that person then became the catalyst for what happened next, and it really worked. And I think that seems to be how I write. I don't sort of plot things. I couldn't write a thriller because, you know, just have to.
You never know who done it.
No.
We really wouldn't.
Oops. Yeah,
We find out who did it archaeologically, we never find out who did it in any other way.
Yeah, right.
Choose your own adventure.
You need character come in and do that.
So, yeah, so I tend to just see what happens, and generally it works out in the end. But I get to the middle of the book sometimes and think, oh no, you know, I've sort of been a bit of a quagmire here. But I think, you know, I don't think my books have a particular message, other than, I think, as I said in the introduction, I like to write about older women, so they're not necessarily first-time lovers, you know, they've got a bit of background, a bit of history, and that's what makes the stories interesting, I think.